she's very intense is the point. And we'd talk and talk and talk, and we'd be on one side and she'd be on the other. And the interesting thing is that she has these eyes that I've never seen before. And we'd talk and talk and talk until the sun started going down. And then the sun did go down, and her eyes would go from whatever her normal color is, probably green or something, and they'd turn violet. They would turn violet, and she would just be sitting there across the table looking at you, talking, with arms crossed, and it would be getting darker and darker. And because I was like the lowest man on the totem pole there, I didn't want to say, does anybody realize it's nighttime now? And then we're at this old French chateau, and it's pitch black, and she's sitting there, and all I can see is her violet eyes piercing through the darkness back at me. I'm like, this chick is a vampire. And that was the thing I found most fascinating about her, and it happened day after day. And nobody would say anything.
So it would just get dark around you.
It was pitch black.
You guys have been talking, just listening to voices in the darkness.
That's right.
And those piercing eyes.
Right.
Kat, do you think that she's fully human, or is she Arcturian mixed with
Angelina?
Yeah.
She's definitely a very interesting creature. I'm not sure that she's a vampire, but definitely something connected, maybe like a witch or something.
Yeah, she's probably like a witch.
This is how it sounds more.
Well, can I just say, all women are witches to some degree?
Yeah, some just use their power and some doesn't, and it looks like she does.
That's right. I mean that. I think all women are witches.
Yeah, okay.
Whatever that means. I don't mean for evil necessarily.
No,
I don't mean for good
no.
either. I think they have a choice, and unfortunately, through failures of character, sometimes they use it for evil.
Sometimes they can launch 1,000 ships.
That's true. Although they don't do it physically, because they'd rather have. Yeah, they get somebody to do it for them.
That's why they're smart like that. What's his work ethic like?
It's fantastic. He's fantastic. I found it incredibly inspirational working with Tom.
Yeah.
And it changed the way I worked. I mean, I was a completely different person. When I sat with him and saw the intensity that he worked with and the uncompromising focus that he had on his work, it changed me. I said, oh, okay, that's how it's done. And it completely changed the way I work. And so, thank you, Tom. I wrote a movie called Equilibrium. If you haven't seen it, it's with Christian Bale and Emily Watson. And so if you haven't watched it, pause now, again. Go purchase the movie, then come back and press continue. So, but that movie, for people who've seen it, there's a scene in it where in a world where nobody has feels anymore, they take a medication to stop feeling. Sound familiar? And he hears Beethoven. He hears music for the first time in his life. And that whole thing it was happening to be Beethoven's, the fourth movement, the beginning of the fourth movement of Beethoven's Ninth Symphony. And that came from me sitting in my office, and the fourth movement, the beginning of the fourth movement of Beethoven's Ninth Symphony, which just sounds like an orchestra tuning of its instruments, came on, and I was so deeply moved by it, and I'd heard it 1,000 times. And I said to myself, God, what would it be like if I'd never heard music before in my life? And I said, wow, I feel so deeply. How do I turn that into a movie? And so I turned it into a movie. The same thing with Salt. Salt is about, people think it's about spies, Russian spy, and Ket the Spy, and blah, 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 but it's not. It's about lying in a relationship, and especially if you watch the director's cut, which they have things that they didn't have in the original cut. So the original cut, which you just bought, that's great, but now you need to pause this and go purchase on Amazon the original, the director's cut, and then come back. But it was about lying in relationships, and unfortunately I was going through a divorce with my wife. So I felt like I had not been entirely truthful with her about things in our relationship. And I felt really bad about it. And I wanted to write about it. And I said, how do I do that? I said, well, spies, because, Russian spy, for instance, comes to this country and they have to do a couple of things to create a cover story, right? They go to work low level at an intelligence agency, the CIA, for instance. They create a cover. But what else do they have to do? Well, they meet a girl, and they lie to her, and they say, I'm American, look at my fluent English, blah, blah, blah. They start a family. They have this long cover that goes years and years. And I thought, this is a way to talk about dishonesty and deception in a relationship, but more importantly, that even though you are deceptive in a relationship, it doesn't mean that the love was not real. And that's why I wrote Salt.
Like, subscribe, comment. What advice would you give to like a screenwriter today? Because has it changed from when you first came out here to break into the business than now? Like, what advice would you give somebody now?
I wouldn't say, but elasticity is important. An ability, an analytical mind to look around, analyze what's going on, and analyze where you can fit in, where you can sort of worm your way into the process and make yourself relevant.
Like, subscribe, comment.
Why not have AI read the scripts and then connect it with agents and managers who are looking, or forget, no, not agents, managers, sorry, producers and studios who are looking for a certain thing. Boom, just go like that. And then we democratize the process to a certain degree. Now, I know right now you're not allowed to say the word AI in a positive way, but let's face it, the camel's nose is in the tent. It's coming. So there may be ways to take it to make the process more economical and make it more open to a normal guy that's sitting out there in Lafayette, Indiana, where he's written a script, and it's a great script, but he can't get through this veil of agents and managers who are there as gatekeepers.
Yeah.
And instead, he just puts it online, the script. AI reads it, and AI, because the studios have gone and said, we're looking for something that's like this. It's like Die Hard, but it's got a little bit of this. But add some new Top Gun into it, and then boom, in about 5 seconds, AI comes and said, hey, there's this dude in Lafayette, Indiana, that wrote the perfect thing for you.
Like, subscribe, comment.
Tell the audience something that they do not know about Jason Statham.
There's probably nothing they don't know about Jason, because the interesting thing about Jason, which is different from all of these other stars, is Jason's very much what you see is what you get. What the guy you see on the screen is Jason. He's not like this guy who's going to act tough all the time, talking like fuck you. He's that guy. When you turn the cameras off, there's no difference between the Guy Ritchie, lock, talk, and two smoking barrels, Jason, and the Jason that you talk to on an everyday basis. He's exactly the same. Yeah, he is that guy. And I think, a lot of people in Hollywood, the people that graduated from Harvard and Yale, they're like, what is this curious creature who is not fake? I don't understand. I'm used to my actors who, are tough guys on screen, and then they're screaming babies the second it happens on the phone. Where's my trailer? They're not used to it. So that's something about Jason.
Wow.
He's very real.
Gerard Butler, when you work with him on Law Abiding Citizen, Jerry is, to me, I can see why he's a star. Because when we're out, everybody just flocks to him. Like, I remember I was at Soho for some after party of the Golden Globes or the Oscars, and then we're together in something, and we're leaving, we're in some stretch limo, and all these girls, they saw us and, Jerry, Greg, we want to come with Jerry. And instead of him being mean, he's like, ladies, you got to talk to Greg, he'll tell you, So I'm like, hey, I'll call you guys a little bit. But he was completely, he wasn't get out of here, girls. Because he was almost going to let him in, but he's like, oh, you got to talk to
Well, this is the thing. There's some stars out there that are not over it the second they're born. They're like, oh my God, I can't stand the attention. And then there's guys like Arnold and Jerry who are really good. And that's why they're stars to a large extent, is they understand gradually they build their fan base by being kind and considerate to people.
Like, subscribe, comment.